There's good news ahead for all of us, as the Trump administration is taking action to lower gas prices, which could save most Americans money not only at the pump, but also when it comes to groceries and energy costs. With so much happening in the world of energy production and consumption, it's critical to stay informed on these changes, especially as they'll impact your budget in the coming months. Now, let's dive into the details because there's a lot of updates to cover today. First, a quick reminder. If you enjoy these daily updates, don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps us keep you in the loop on breaking news like this. So, just a week ago, President Trump mentioned that gas prices in some states had dropped to an incredible 1.98 cents per gallon. This sparked a bit of controversy, and it's worth examining what's true and what's not in that statement. As much as we'd like to see that price everywhere, the reality is a bit more complicated. The average price for a gallon of gas nationwide is currently hovering around $3.17, though there are states where it's cheaper. For example, South Carolina has the lowest at about $2.79 per gallon, while Tennessee and Arkansas are also seeing prices below $3 at $2.72 and $2.76, respectively. Although the nationwide average isn't at $1.98, there is some truth to President Trump's tweet. Gas prices have indeed dropped from last year's highs of around $3.66 per gallon. We saw a dip to $3.25 a month ago and $3.15 a week ago. So why have gas prices been creeping back up slightly? Well, part of the reason is the transition to summer blend gasoline, which tends to be more expensive to refine. As demand for travel picks up this summer, we're likely to see prices rise in many places, especially around vacation spots. However, there's a silver lining to all of this. Demand for travel is expected to drop significantly due to the high cost of travel, which will affect both airlines and road trips. For example, summer airline travel is predicted to decline, and many Americans won't be flying as much as they typically would. This will force hotels to lower their prices to compete for fewer travelers, creating a unique situation where the cost of staying in hotels may actually decrease. Furthermore, gas prices are expected to drop in the months of June, July, and August, not go up as they usually do during peak summer months. This could help boost summer road trips for those who opt to drive instead of fly. Now let's talk about the oil market. We've got some good news here too. OPEC+, the group of major oil-producing countries, has agreed to increase oil output by 411,000 barrels per day for the months of June, May, and July. This surge in supply is expected to help push prices down as the supply of oil increases while demand remains low. This is a big deal because the more oil available, the cheaper it becomes at the pump, benefiting consumers across the country. Additionally, President Trump has been vocal about reducing the federal gas tax, which stands at 18.4 cents per gallon. This could result in lower gas prices across the nation, especially if this initiative is passed. At the same time, some states, like California and Pennsylvania, have higher state gas taxes, which add to the cost at the pump. California's gas tax is a hefty 59.6 cents per gallon, while Pennsylvania's is close behind at 57.6 cents. But here's the catch. Gas taxes, both federal and state, contribute a significant portion of the price consumers pay. In fact, the combined federal and state taxes can add up to around 50 cents per gallon. While the Trump administration is exploring ways to separate federal taxes from state taxes, this could have a significant impact on the final price consumers pay at the pump. If we see a reduction in federal taxes or states decide not to raise them, it could help keep prices more manageable. However, state taxes vary, so in places like California, residents may still face high prices despite federal tax cuts. As we move forward, it's important to keep an eye on the changes coming in the gas market, as there's a lot at stake. The lower prices at the pump are expected to lead to increased spending in other areas, which will benefit the economy. Consumers will have more discretionary income to spend on goods and services, and some of that money may even be funneled into other sectors like travel, dining, and entertainment. Now let's talk about some practical advice. For those of you looking to save even more at the gas station, there are rewards programs that can help. For example, Costco credit card holders can earn 5% cash back when they fill up at Costco's gas stations. This can add up quickly, especially if you're filling up regularly. Similarly, Sam's Club typically offers lower gas prices than other stations, not because they're losing money, but because they make a slim profit margin on fuel. Their goal is to get you into the store to buy other products, which is where they make up the difference. In summary, while gas prices might not have hit $1.98 per gallon everywhere, the good news is that prices are still much lower than they were last year, and they're expected to continue decreasing in the coming months as supply increases and demand decreases. The Trump administration is working to keep these costs down, and there are even discussions about lowering the federal gas tax. As gas prices continue to drop, it could lead to more Americans hitting the road this summer for vacations and other trips, but with the added benefit of lower overall costs. So, with all this in mind, what do you think? If gas prices continue to drop, would you consider taking a road trip this summer, or are you planning to stay closer to home? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more updates on the ongoing situation with gas prices and other important news that affects you.